Hey friends, welcome back to another birthday cake making decoration. This one is for my niece. I believe she's turning 11. And so she asked for a boba tea decorated cake. She asked for blueberry cake with blueberry filling. So that is what we're going to do. She also asked for the colors to be purple and blue. So we're going to see what we can do with that. I've already made one batch of cake, and then I'm going to go ahead and make another batch of cake with you guys. I already went ahead and got all of the ingredients measured just to make it easier on me. I actually did that before I decided I was going to turn on the camera and record this process. I'm going to go ahead and get all of this stuff mixed up. I've already made one cake. I have to do 4 times the recipe. It's going to be about a 12-inch tall cake because I want it, if it's going to be like a boba tea, I want it to be a statement, you know? I'm going to support it a lot so that it doesn't, Leaning Tower of Pisa itself, hopefully. This will be the first time that I've ever made a boba cake. I am an amateur at cake decorating and making. I'm definitely not a professional. I am a mom and an aunt that loves making fun things, and my niece asked me when she saw the butterfly cake, she asked me if I would make her birthday cake. And I was so touched by her request that I said absolutely. And then she asked for a boba cake and I said, okay, we're gonna stretch a little bit, but that's okay. I'm excited to do it. I think it's going to turn out really well. I've had months and months to plan and look at inspirational videos and pictures, so it should go okay. If for nothing less, it's going to taste delicious, and I believe that that's really all that matters. No one's paying me for this cake. I'm not a baker. I don't have a bakery that's depending on my, cake to look perfect to have people come back. This is me as an aunt showing my love through baking to my lovely and precious niece, who I cannot call little anymore because she's not. So come along for the journey. I'm gonna go ahead and mix all of this up. I'm gonna get my recipe down from right here because this one has kind of specific directions on like how to mix things and add things. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. My sister and my brother-in-law, actually I think my mom also chipped in and got me the bigger mixer for Christmas. We're very happy about it. So I'm hoping you guys can hear me over it. We're gonna go ahead, this one says to cream the butter, which I started doing earlier, and then to add the sugar little bits at a time until it's fully combined. I will absolutely link this recipe. I am leaving out the fresh lemon juice. I believe, oh no, this isn't a lemon blueberry. But it does call for 1 tablespoon of fresh lemon juice, although I believe that is supposed to go in with the blueberries when you toss it. I left that out, and I'm not gonna add it. I did do a tester run of this cake just to see if it was gonna work okay and if it was sturdy enough to hold 6 layers. And I think it's going to be. The key there is I think. I don't know for sure. So hopefully it will go okay. So we're going to add the egg whites one at a time, although I'll have them all mixed in here, but I'm just gonna dollop them in there. So I'm just going to add this until it's completely mixed and looks a little bit more creamy and frothy. And then I will start on with the next step. Now, if you're following the recipe exactly, it's going to tell you to stop and add other ingredients in a different bowl. I've already done that off of recording or off of the camera, so I'm not going to do that step. But just be sure that if you are following the recipe, you look for those steps. You're not following exactly what I'm doing. This recipe makes it taste like a blueberry muffin, and it is delicious. I love blueberry muffins. And so it tastes exactly like a blueberry muffin to me, but it's in cake form, which is pretty spectacular. I'm just gonna scrape down the sides. I'm not sure, does anybody else's mixer miss the sides? I know that there are paddle attachments that have the scraper. I'm sorry, bumping into y'all. Oh, again, my bad. Let me adjust you back. Yeah, so I know there's a scraper, but I don't know whether it's, my mixer might be a little defective, or maybe I should contact the company. All right, so our next step is to add half of the flour mixture, which I've already gotten mixed up, and then the milk and the flour alternating. I'm gonna turn this down so I don't wear all the flour mixture. I used oat milk for this recipe. It calls for milk. I used oat milk. I have milk allergies in my family, so I always use non-dairy butter and milk because of that. But you can use normal. You guys are wearing the flour. Sorry. Okay, I'm gonna put you guys back over there where you're safe. All right, now it tells us to mix this for 3 minutes on medium speed. Sorry, the word left me for a minute. While that's doing that, I'm going to get my blueberries out. Okay, so this is what the batter looks like before I add the blueberries. I had to step away for a minute so it just settled a little bit, so I'm gonna mix it again. And then I'm gonna put you guys back on the tripod so I can add the blueberries. I'm gonna finish folding in the blueberries with my spatula. I decided that I don't mind if the blueberries color the cake a little bit, but I don't want to crush the blueberries too much. So that is what I'm going to do. Oh man. Is anybody else a baker or a cook that doesn't like their hands to be dirty? I know it's so kind of contradictory, but I'm one of those people. I'm okay with it. So I'm just folding the blueberries in just a little bit, trying to get them well dispersed within the batter. I know I mentioned in one of my other videos how I'm also a gardener who doesn't like dirty hands. So I'm choosing these two sizes. I don't remember what size. This is going to be more the size of the cake, although it's going to be tapered at the bottom, but this is the size that I'm going to go for. But because I only have one of these, I am not going to wait to just wait for this one to cook over and over again. So I'm using this one, and then I'm going to cut the size that I need. That's the plan, at least. Once again, stay tuned to see if it will actually work. Because the blueberries are frozen, which I believe this recipe said that you could also use fresh berries. I think it actually calls for fresh berries. I don't have fresh berries, so I could have gotten store-bought blueberries, but I just didn't want to do that. I got wild frozen blueberries, and I think it's going to be delicious. They're just a little bit smaller, so I feel like the smaller berry is going to have just as much flavor because it's a wild berry, but it's also going to disperse better. Okay, so we're gonna put this in. Now, because I used frozen blueberries, it's gonna take a little bit longer to cook. She calls, or they call, I don't know whether it's a man or a woman who wrote the recipe, but they call for 350 for 35 to 45 minutes, I think. I am noticing that it's taking just a little bit longer than that, which is totally okay because the oven has to bring up the temperature of the whole cake before it can cook the frozen blueberries. This is what it looks like. So pretty. So that's what it looks like before it goes in. And what I'm gonna do is I'm going to reset everything. I'm gonna measure out all of my ingredients again because I'm going to do this for a third time. I think I'm just gonna do it 3 times. So each of my cakes is roughly 1.5 inches thick. So if I did 1, 2, 3 recipes, so if I did it 3 times, the recipe, my cake would be roughly this tall, which is going to be really good. I thought it would not be nice if it was just a little bit taller, but I didn't, as I was figuring this out, I did not consider the filling. So if I just do 3 and then I have a nice amount of, 1/2 inch of filling, it should make up for the height that I want it to be. But even if it is just this high, it's gonna be a nice height cake. So that is the plan. Once again, I will remind you that that is the plan. It might not be reality, but we're gonna stay optimistic and we're gonna have fun while we're doing it. I will see you guys back when I'm actually decorating the cake. I don't think I have very much more to show in this process. I did take a little clip of the ones that I've already baked, so you will be able to see that, and then you'll also see the cake again when I'm constructing it. So I will see you guys back in a couple days. It is currently Sunday, and I'm gonna start decorating the cake on Thursday. Her birthday party is on Friday. I might be wrong on that. I think her birthday party might be on Saturday. You know what, guys? We've got it all together. It's okay. We do this early because that way we can be prepared. But anyway, it will be a couple days before you see me again, and then we will actually be decorating and putting the cake together, constructing the cake. I forgot. We're going to put them in the freezer. So some of you might have been like, wait, why are you cooking them so far in advance? Aren't they going to go bad? Yes, I am not going to leave them out on the counter. They are going to go into the freezer. I did that with the other one. I actually have a little bit of this was the tester that I did. And it still has a beautiful texture. This came out of the freezer and it still has a really nice texture. It's so good. It smells just like a blueberry muffin. Anybody else so ready for garden season? I can't say that I'm so ready for garden season, but I'm definitely getting excited about garden season, especially because Courtney texts me and asks me garden questions, which I absolutely love, and wants to know what I'm planning on planting and just all the fun garden planning things, and I'm just so looking forward to the beauty and peace of the garden and the lush greenness and the abundance that comes out of the garden. I'm excited. So right now it's quite gray. All, you know, all the trees are resting, which, so these are almost completely cool. They have just, it's not cold by any means. It's probably like just above room temperature. There's still just a little bit of warmth. I'm trying not to scrape the sides off too much because I want the moisture to stay in it. I don't want it to get super dry. Plus, the edges are like caramelized sugar. Guys, you have to try this cake. It's pretty delicious. I'm trying to get as much of the air out as I can. Although I didn't do that on my tester one and it seemed to be okay. Okay, so here I'm going to make the filling, and I just winged it. I put some blueberries in a pot with some sugar, and then I used cornstarch to thicken it. And I think I put a little bit of lemon juice in there as well, just to give it some acid, and it was delicious. So here I'm just simmering it on the stove. And this was after I put the cornstarch in, and I'm just letting it thicken up. Hi guys, welcome back. It is now the day before the party. I am tired, so I'm not going to be super chatty in this video, but today is the day that we are decorating the cake. So I have all of the things that I think I'm gonna need. I have my cake decorating turntable thing. It has a specific name, I forget what it is now. I have 2 cake boards. Oops. Which I just got from Walmart. I got the 10-pack, but they're a little bit flimsy. They're a little bit more flimsy than the one that I got last time. So I just taped 2 of them together just to make it easier for whenever I pick it up to put it in the transport box. So it won't stay on this. I'll transfer it to a different one when I put it in the box. I also used a touch of tape to tape it to my turntable. And then I have wide straws, and these are actual plastic straws. I'm going to use these for drinking later, but they will be my supports for my cake, although they might be too tall. I might end up cutting a couple of these. We'll see how it goes. I have my piping bags. I just have a whole bunch of stuff. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. This is normally the point in a decoration when I start freaking out and thinking that it's all going to not work. And I just have to get over this hump and just start doing it, because oftentimes I can get in my own head about it. And so I just need to start doing it. So the first thing I'm going to do, I have my cakes out. I took them out yesterday out of the freezer. And so they are all completely thawed. So I'm just going to cut them out of these bags. I don't want to drag them out because they are a little bit sticky on the tops and bottoms. So I'm going to cut them out of the bags, and then I'm going to cut the tops off, which is really unfortunate because the tops are delicious, but they're also domed. So I don't want it to create any more unlevelness or unsteadiness in the cake. So I'm going to go ahead and cut the tops off. Probably not going to talk a whole lot through this video just because I have to concentrate, and I will talk when I can. But other than that, you guys are just going to be watching me do it. Okay, so the first cake is out. I think I'm going to do cake by cake. I only have one shot at this, which is another thing that makes me kind of nervous, but that's okay. I'm just going to I made some blueberry buttercream. And I made it really thick because I want it to be quite a bit of a glue, because this is going to go on in the inside, and it's going to hold up the structure quite a bit. So I did make it really thick, and then I made an Italian buttercream for the outside, and it's really whippy and beautiful. I've never made Italian buttercream before, but it is gorgeous. Okay, here we go. No time like the present. This is sad. Also very nerve-wracking. I don't know, am I cutting too much off? Maybe I should get a level. Nah, that'd be too professional. We're just gonna go with it. I should probably get a level. Oh, I think my dog's about to bark at something. Oh. Okay, so the next thing I need to do is fill one of these bags with buttercream, because I'm going to create a dam and then I'm going to put filling in. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to do this first. Just doing a really thin layer, just as a barrier for the filling that I'm going to put in. And then I'm going to create the dam, which you guys will see. I need a bigger one of these, I know. Okay. I will remind you guys again that I am not a professional. I just do this for the pure joy of it and the artistic aspect of it. I have always been like this. I remember a time when, I don't know, I must have been 13, 14, and I would make the desserts for my family every night just because I just loved baking, which I'm sure helped my mom out a lot. I'm sure she really appreciated that. And it could have been, you know, a cake or cookies, like whatever it was that she... Actually, I don't even think she ever told me what to make. She just let me do whatever I wanted. So yeah, I've always really, really enjoyed baking. But I do not pretend to be a professional. I just do it because I love it. I have been told that I should do it professionally, and I just don't know whether I'm convinced that it wouldn't steal the joy from it if somebody was paying me. So, haven't quite gotten there yet. And I'm not sure if I will ever get there. I have done other professions that I truly loved doing. One of those was photography. I actually went into doing it where people were paying me to do it, and it took the joy out of it quite a bit. So something that I learned from the butterfly cake that I did is to do multiple of these, not just to do one. So I'm gonna make it nice and thick to hold in all of the filling that I'm gonna be putting in there. Should I do a third? Yes. But I'm going to do this one a little bit less. All right. I have those little bag ties, but I don't know how to use them. Truly. I mean, how do you use it? Wingy time here. We're just gonna tie it around there like that. I think another mistake that I oftentimes make while decorating cakes is I try to rush, thinking that, you know, I need to get it done quickly, but realistically I don't. This is the day before the party, so I have time, and I did it like that this time because of that. Like, I just didn't want to be as rushed and as stressed, so I'm hoping that pays off. Now, I froze this, and it appears to have lost some of its thickness, which is a little bit concerning, but we're just gonna go with it. We just might not put as much in there as we were going to before. I think I have enough of a dam that it will be okay. All right, we're ready for cake number 2. I want to do 4 layers. I'm definitely not gonna do 6. Like I had said in the other part of this video, because 6 will just be way too high. Okay guys, it's gonna be okay. We can do this. Oh, I think I did that too close. I'll just do this one nice and thick. Stressful part, I was even like stressing about this when I was going to sleep last night, is how in the world I'm gonna taper it and make it look like a cup. I saw one girl who did it with the icing, so she just put thicker icing up at the top. I might do that, but then she even said that she wished that she hadn't done that, but I might do it. Okay, so for the sake of not having this video be 6 hours worth of footage that I have to go through, I'm just gonna do little bits and pieces of it so you guys can see the process. I'll be back later. Okay guys, as I'm editing this video, I'm realizing that there's a bit of a gap in the footage, and that is because after the last footage that you see, everything just kind of starts sliding off the rails on me. I get it stacked up really nicely, and I believe that's going to be the last footage that you see, and then I move on to crumb coating it, but the Italian buttercream that I made was much too salty because I used salted butter and I put the salt in. And so at first I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna use it. It might offset the sweet of the cake. And then as I was putting it on, I was just like, man, this is really salty. I don't think this is going to taste very good. And so I pivoted and I was going to make another batch of that same buttercream because I wanted something that was less sweet because the cake itself is very sweet. And so I made it again, and for whatever reason, the second batch went terribly, okay? Like, it just didn't come together. It got all clumpy and weird, and so I said, you know what? I am through trying to make this work. I'm just gonna do the standard American buttercream that I've always done and call it a day, because at this point I'm getting quite done. And so at this point it's Friday, so I was doing all the decorating on Friday and the party was on Saturday. So I'm very, very glad that I did that. I'm very glad that I made the cakes in advance, put them in the freezer, pulled them out the night before, actually the day before. I've already crumb coated it with the Italian buttercream. What I did not realize is that the Italian buttercream is a lot softer than the American buttercream. So the American buttercream is just sliding around on the Italian buttercream. And I'm just like, the Italian buttercream is underneath, it's the crumb coat, and the American buttercream is just sliding around on it. So I panic scraped as much of the Italian buttercream off as I could and started putting on the American buttercream. I was trying to make it hard enough so that it wouldn't slide off, but I should have, I think, looking back, I should have made it softer so that it would have become like adhered to the Italian buttercream more, but then it potentially was gonna melt faster. I don't know. You will see at the end. I believe it turned out fine. But that is why there is a lot of lapse in footage, because I just could not even think about trying to capture any of that moment. I was all over the place. The kitchen was a wreck. And the really sweet thing was one of my kids was there to be like, it's okay, mama, it's gonna be all right, like, keep going. So that was really sweet. But that is why there's a lapse in footage. What else happened? I finally figured it out. It wasn't as smooth as I wanted to, but it actually added a lot to the texture of the cake. So I'm actually looking back and thinking that it was an okay thing. It did melt a little bit on the way over. I had it in a cake box, and I didn't think about the fact that the cake box was going to create a greenhouse type environment. So as I'm holding it on my lap, trying to make sure that it didn't flip over or topple over or anything like that, I didn't think about the sun coming through the window of the truck and creating a greenhouse. So she did melt a little bit on the bottom, but it actually looked okay. I think I covered everything. It got stressful and hairy for a minute, but it ended up okay.